you were on the balcony of your hotel room, communing with the city by looking at all the buildings.
Exactly. It was very nice, and the hotel we were in was a dive, because we didn't want to spend $400 to sleep, right? I found the cheapest hotel within a mile of the venue.
Cool.
And now I say mile because now I'm in the U.S., right? There's no kilometers down there. So we're within a mile of the venue, and it's like, there's not even a bathroom. There's not even a bathroom in a room. There's like a bathroom down the hallway. You have to share with everybody in that floor,
Very old school.
Exactly, yeah. And it turns out everybody going to this concert had the same idea we had, right? Go get a room at the cheap hotel.
So they're all in the same. You're all there together, sort of thing.
Oh, exactly, yeah. So we ended up hanging out with these party animals, just hanging around, smoking joints and on the sidewalk and everything, and we got to know some cool people from Florida and from New York, and it was meeting people from Montreal and all over the place. It was pretty neat. But the venue, I don't know if you looked it up or not. I don't know if I sent you a picture or two, because I don't take a lot of pictures at concerts, but.
Yeah, you did. You did. I can't remember it though, but you did.
But yeah, if you look it up, it's called the Bosch Wang Theater, and I've never been to a theater this beautiful before. Like, one of the most beautiful theaters in Canada is a place called Massey Hall in Toronto. You may have heard of Massey Hall. It's like our Royal Albert Hall, But Bosch.
Right, I'm with you. Yeah.
Bosch Wang.
Oh yeah.
This place blows Massey Hall. It looks like Michelangelo painted the place.
Yeah, I see that. That's a lovely wee venue. Yes, it's got a circle. It's got some boxes at the back there. Yeah, that looks like a good wee venue. Probably great sound as well. You know what? We were up in the upper balcony, so the sound was a little lacking, I think. But I my ears adjusted to it pretty quickly. But I listened to my pocket recorder afterwards, and it wasn't the best sounding show. Like, some guys with their cell phones in the lower area had much better sounding video than I had with my high quality microphone. Yeah,
but. It was a good experience. It was the first show of the tour, so there was some technical hiccups, I think, as well. But
right,
that didn't distract from anything. The fact that I got to see 3 of my favorite bands on stage at the same time was remarkable. So it was. Yeah, the one aspect of this story that we didn't cover, which we should have covered at the start for anybody listening, is which band it was you were going to see, because we sort of launched into the travel and all of that. But I'll need a title for the video. So okay, well, yeah, so. So it wasn't necessarily a band I was going to see. It was a celebration of Maynard James Keenan's 60th birthday, right? So it was called Sessanta, which I think is like Italian for 60 or something, or 60th. And it was originally planned on playing 2 shows. I think one in California and one in Arizona. And I guess there was such a huge response. They just kept adding more and more dates. It ended up being this like 6-week long tour. And the earliest date ended up being the one in Boston. So that's what the tickets we got. And we didn't get them right off the bat. They ended up being a little more expensive because we bought them from a scalping website, because they sold out in seconds, But we went. And so the idea was, Maynard he's the leader of 3 bands, right? And which I'm surprised it wasn't those 3 bands. It was 2 of his bands plus Primus. So his other 2 bands outside of Tool is Pussifer and A Perfect Circle. Right, and I think that I have a suspicion that he probably invited Tool to be part of the concert, but part of the deal was you have to write new music, and Tool can't write new music fast enough, I don't think, to be part of the celebration.
Yeah, they operate at the same pace as a glacier, don't they?
They do, yeah. So I think that's my guess, or just maybe Les Claypool's a little more flexible, because Tool is a very rigid band. Their music may sound loose and kind of improvised or whatever, but there's no room for like a lot of improvisation and playing around. They're they're rigid, and I think that was part of the issue.
Claypool seems to be one of those guys that you would call on, because he's so good at so many different things.
Exactly, yeah.
That I would imagine, just regardless of what he's doing in any particular project, just having him around would be great,
Exactly, yeah. And I know there's some history there where, like, Primus and Pussifer played together before, and the drummer, Tim Alexander, the current Primus drummer, he was the first drummer for Perfect Circle, and he drummed for Pussifer before as well. So he's been the drummer for all 3 of the bands that were playing at some point. So I just assumed he would be the drummer for the show, that he would just be the only drummer, but they had 3 drummers there. They had Gunnar, I think it's Gunnar Olsen, he's the drummer for Pussifer. Josh Freese. I'm sure you've heard of Josh Freese before. He's drummed on over 500 bands, 500 albums I think he's played on, or over.
I've heard the name, but I couldn't really put my finger on what he is or what he's done.
Well, right now he's most famous for being the new drummer for the Foo Fighters. He replaced Taylor Hawkins.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I know him. Yeah. Then yes, I know him.
But yeah, so he was the drummer for Perfect Circle on their first 2 albums, and he's a fantastic drummer. So they brought him back just for this tour, and so they had the 3 drummers up there, and instead of being like a typical like one band plays, another band plays, another band plays, it was all cut up and mixed together. So like the first 3 songs were played by Perfect Circle, and then the next 3 songs were played by Pussifer. The next 3 were done by Primus, and there was some intermingling going on. And then then they do another set where it's like Primus plays first, and then Pussifer plays, and a Perfect Circle plays, and then they did that. Then they mixed it up again for the 3rd set. And again, as the sets were going on, there was more intermingling going on with like drum battles and like Les Claypool playing cello on some songs and other things.
All of this is, you were saying, is new music, is it?
Well, at this point, they're just rehashing their favorites, I think, or the songs they wanted to play. So Perfect Circle's playing some old songs, some new songs, but the last 3 songs were the 3 new songs they wrote. So yeah, they finished the set with they finished the show with 3 new songs. So there was a new Primus song, a new Pussifer song, and a new Perfect Circle song. And the Primus song was the standout one for me because it was clearly a Primus song, but instead of Les Claypool singing, Maynard did the vocals. And hearing Maynard, because Les Claypool, like, he's a great, fantastic musician, but he's not a great singer, right? Like I think we've talked about that before, maybe, I'm not sure, but he's one of those guys that like Jimi Hendrix, you know, like he serves the songs well, but he's definitely not a singer, you know? And so but Maynard is one of my favorite singers, right? So to have him sing a Primus song that I'd never heard before was fantastic, and he was doing things that Les Claypool would never do. Like he was finding these notes and these harmonies that you know only a brilliant singer like himself would come up with, you know. And my conclusion after leaving the show was I need to hear a Primus album with Maynard on vocals. Like I think that needs to happen, you know. Right. It would be amazing. And then they finished the song with like they finished the whole show with a King Crimson like ending, where if you go see King Crimson, they're very specific. You do not have cameras. You do not have phones out. You're not taking pictures. If you get caught taking pictures during the show, you're removed. There's no warning. You're gone. And Maynard's the same way. He even spends they have a guy come out on stage, tell you not to bring out cameras. They got signs all over. And then Maynard does a little skit at the beginning, like a cartoonish like video, talking about how if you get caught taking pictures, we're going to take you out and put you in a meat grinder and turn you into a can of Spam. You know, and you know,
I think that's great. I'm all in favor of that.
Me too.
I think.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. Like when I was a kid, you know, there wasn't that stuff around, right? So you might see someone with a camera, like a digital camera, taking pictures here and there, but for the most part, the only distraction is people talking and the lighter is going on sometimes during slow songs. But yeah, it's, you know, in the last 10 years, it's not uncommon for you to be sitting in a beautiful venue with a great view, and then the guy in front of you starts holding his camera above his head. And now you're trying to watch a concert around someone's camera, you know, and it's incredibly frustrating. And the fact that they think they should have the right to do that is just asinine. Because I've heard people trying to argue, going like, I paid $90 to be here. I'm going to enjoy it the way I want. And I'm going like, does that mean I can urinate on you? Because I like to piss on people, so I'm going to piss on you. You know, that's how I enjoy concerts. You know.
Now that's a logical leap there. That's